Welcome to the new year, Rick.
Hey, welcome everybody, and welcome to Side Dish. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. The holiday really is officially over, I think, because Monday everybody's back at work. A lot of people were off on Friday.
Yeah, it was just a weird year, all three big holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's all falling on a Thursday.
Which was great because my office, otherwise I would have been at work the next day. Now I'm you see my hat.
Oh yeah, Happy New Year. That's nice. I like it. I like the attire.
Thank you. I'm going to take it off in a second because I prefer to bob and weave.
Oh, now you have head hair.
And the string broke, so
you have hat hair now, Mark.
I always have hat hair. I keep it short. I'm thinking of starting to take showers at night because I got all this stuff to do before I surrender to the cubicle in the mornings. And I thought if I take a shower at night, I'm up, man. Got my coffee. I'm ready to go.
You are certainly aging to perfection, Mark. It's awesome.
I am aging to perfection.
The
oh my
changes
God.
we make as we get older, isn't it something?
It is something, and we'll get to that in our resolutions. So I got my bell.
I got my fuel.
Yeah, I thought you said thermopubes in the green room.
I was pretending I didn't hear that. Or FaceTime froze for a minute,
So we ready?
Yes, I'm ready. What's going on? Lots going on in the world. Hit that bell. Let's start topic number 1.
Well, the GOP is coming into power, and I mentioned this on the Daily Red Lines, which people are welcome to subscribe to. They can find it at lgbtsr.org, Monday through Thursday news roundup. Anyways, the GOP is getting in the driver's seat on Tuesday, and we're going to see what happens. If are they going to govern? They had some right-wing commentators telling them not to govern, to just keep the country fucked up for 2 more years. So these poor, exhausted, demoralized Americans will put them in the White House, which is nuts. But so that's my first topic. It's just huge, and I'm not a hater, and I want to see what they do if they do anything, and it's going to be an interesting year.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting. I see Obama's already getting credit, as one of the top 3 winners already as we go into the new year, because he ignored the fact that basically he lost the midterm elections for the party. But you're right. The party controls 31 governorships and 68 of the 98 legislative bodies or chambers. I was reading them, Mark. The things they want to take on this year, I posted on Facebook yesterday. Common Core education, they want to assault it. They want to take on abortion regulations, lowering personal and corporate income taxes, de-weakening, taking away the I call it the Scott Walker power of the labor unions, taking that away. And then they want to take on the EPA, of course, because what good's the EPA when they challenge them, are those really things to take on? Come on, you tried gay marriage. You tried to block it, dudes, and you didn't make it. So come on, dudettes.
Well, and they're talking now. I read this morning. They're quietly, some of them, not very many, I imagine, are starting to take the whole replacement part of repeal and replace, which they stopped talking. They just kept saying repeal. But there's tens of millions of people, especially if the Supreme Court does another one of its political moves and guts Obamacare. With the subsidies, but you're going to have millions of people with suddenly with no health insurance. And so the Republicans are starting to talk about, well, what are we going to do about it? Some of them don't give a shit. I mean, a lot of right-wing friends that I know and love and don't care. They don't care that, that these people with no money are going to have no health insurance too. I mean, talk about a death panel, the ultimate death panel, the Supreme Court, man. So we're going to see how that plays out soon, too.
No, I agree with you. I think that, this is the year or the next few years that the true Tea Party may emerge as a true party, or the Libertarian Party will emerge as a true party and have more power, because Huckabee declaring last night, he quit his Fox News show last night. He's ready to rock and roll as he explores the presidency. I don't think it's going to happen. I think you're going to find that the parties are going to move to the way of the, Rand and the way his father started things the last couple presidential elections. So, yeah, I agree. Bye-bye, Republican Party. For me, hey, Mark, it's about turning 50. I'm going to be turning 50.
LGBTSR. You were an honorary LGBTSR when you helped me start the site. Now you're legit, man. You're totally legit.
Right, because for those that don't know, Mark really created LGBTSR for those of the 50 set plus, those that are proud carrying or possibly proud carrying AARP card members. And I got my card in the mail, so I'm official.
Very cool.
I love it. What's interesting, Mark? I turned 50 like 2 weeks from today. And I was thinking, man, all year I was kind of thinking, man, what's it going to feel like to be 50? I've had a lot of you blaze the trail before me, yourself included. And I've seen your struggles and things you went through, but I also see the victories. And for me, I'm really ready to take it on. So I realized this last 6 months of dealing with it and trying to understand it was really about being able to hit 50 and celebrate 50 and not hit 50 and hide in bed for 2 days. So I'm pretty excited. I have this list in front of me. I sent you this list, but I want to bring up a couple. It says, you've made it. You're 50 when these things happen. One is kidnappers are not very interested in you. People call at 9 p.m. and ask, did I wake you?
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing to learn left to learn the hard way. Isn't that the truth? I love this one, too. This is so my mother. You enjoy hearing about other people's operations.
Oh, funny. That's funny.
They're all funny. Your joints are more accurate meteorologists than the National Weather Service. I could go on and on and on, but hey, bring it. I'm ready. 50.
Yep, best decade, creative decade of my life. Each
Really?
each decade is different, but I have been super creative in my 50s. I think there's some little element of of time running out. I mean, I don't want to be morbid, but I think there's something in my psyche that's saying you better get this shit done. The writing, I got all these books out and publishing and LGBT senior, but all this stuff that I do. I don't know that I would have done it 10 years ago because I would have said to myself, I'll get to it next year. I can't say that about anything. I'm going to get to it next year because I don't know if next year is coming. Not because of my age, but I think you're just more aware of the sands through the hourglass. And it's been a great decade for me.
No, it's all, I can vouch for that. You launched the website at that age. The whole things with your book writing, you're on your fifth album coming up or something, right? But
my fifth album.
It's awesome.
I got an album dropping? I didn't know that. Did you say my fifth album?
I did. This is the problem. We accept that in our 50-year-old friends. You don't question what I said because you understood what I said.
Well, it's dropping on February 5th. It's a bunch of duets with dead people.
Stop it. Did you ask Gaga to sing with you this time?
She's not dead. I only did it with dead people, like Barry Manilow.
It's called the Dead Duets. He's not dead. Don't start.
No, but he did a duets. He's got a duets album out with Louis Armstrong. He's did all these duets with dead people.
And you are on your game, shit, man.
How on top of the pop culture can you be that you don't know that Barry Manilow dropped a new one?
I got to go up and Huffington Post it in a minute here. What's going on? What you got next? What's your next subject?
Well, Mario Coumo died on New Year's Day, and he was a liberal lion. I know you're a big Hillary person. I was in 2008. I'm not a hater. I decided to use hate and hater with this sort of flippant meaninglessness that it has been used for the last few years. I'm kidding, but those are words I'm not going to use this year. But anyways, where was I? Oh, Hillary. Yeah, okay. I was big on Hillary in 2008, but Mario was a true liberal lion. He was a true progressive. He was unapologetic. He was a pro-choice Catholic, but at the same time, he never hesitated to talk about his faith and what it meant to him. He was really a giant for a lot of us who once had a progressive dream that I think is pretty much in shambles. Because Hillary's okay if she's the nominee, she's got my vote. But she's a corporate Democrat, and I think most of them are now. And I think the whole era of Mario Coumo it died before him, but it's certainly gone now, with maybe the exception of Elizabeth Warren. Well, but anyways, Mario was a really good guy, and I got to vote for him in '94 against Pataki when I first moved to New York, and it's a passing of more than just him.
Well, you can't bring back the dead Democrats like you did the dead duets, so you have to put your vote somewhere.
Well, was Louis Armstrong a Democrat?
No, I'm just talking about your friend there.
No, I know. I'm just playing with you.
Legacy. He's got 2 boys, 3 girls. One of the boys is currently president. Your governor, who may become president. 2 things that I remember about him that I really have a lot of respect for is he was considering a presidential run, as you know, and was on the runway of an airport in New York on his way to New Hampshire, and decided, no, let Mr. Clinton have his chance in the political limelight. And he backed out. He got off the plane, famously walked off the plane and got on with his life. The second thing I remember is when they put him as a Democrat against Koch, who eventually won the election back in probably the late 70s, if I'm not mistaken, for the mayor of New York. And he was accused, all these signs went up in the political campaign, as you know, it said, vote Cuomo, don't vote for the homo. And he was accused, up until the end of Koch's death, of being responsible for the Vote Cuomo, not the homo campaign. And he didn't do it.
Right. I don't believe he did that. Not Mario. There was I'm sure there was some operative who did. And his son, it's possible. Because our current governor, I really like him, but there's some shady stuff going on, and I don't know. He may not run for president. Plus, he's got a girlfriend. He's not married. I don't think the country's ready for, a girlfriend in the White House. I just don't think it is.
Well, we had it happen with Bush too. She lived there along with his wife.
What are you talking about?
Now look it up, Mark. Just look it up.
Oh, okay. Like Eleanor Roosevelt and her
and her girlfriend,
her gal love interest. So
like Hillary Clinton. Oh, we won't go there. What's up for me is, hey, we just did a show. Last one we did was wrapping up 2014, the highlights of 2014, and moving on to 2015. What we look forward to, which will lead to your next subject too. But for me, I'm all ready to wrap up 2015. Day 4 of 2015, and what you looking at?
No, you got your face is all up in the camera. People who listen to us don't know that. This is on YouTube, by the way. You can see these on YouTube. But your face is always it's like looking at a doorknob. I really like it. So
I thought you were looking at the cleavage.
No.
Usually I wear my little muscle tank top to pretend I have muscles. But anyway, now you got me off focus here. Oh, so for me, I'm ready to wrap up 2015. I had the high point and the low point. The low point was, we talked about it as being one of the big stories of 2014. The interview, the whole Sony thing, and it's releasing, and Sony releasing the movie anyway, which they released here in Shreveport. So I went to see it on the second or third day of the new year. Hated it. The only good scene I liked in it, and there's commentary here. It's not just about did Rick like the movie or not. That's not the story. The story is all this big buzz, all the ramifications that are still coming from it. U.S. Citizens fighting for the rights of First Amendment, and that's why I went in. I went in to say, hey, I'm a First Amendment believer. Let's support the movie. And I almost walked out midway, but I stuck with it. But when I left the movie and the next group was coming in, because it's been sold out here for like 2 weeks, I looked at the people, and these are the people that I consider the nationalists, that these are people that just support America to support America. I don't think they care about the First Amendment right, or certainly they care about the Second Amendment right, but I don't think they care about the Second Amendment right for what it really stands for either. I think these are people who just say, you tell me I can't carry a gun? Fuck you, I'm carrying a gun. You tell me I can't see this movie about North Korea? Screw you, I'm going to see it with my baseball cap and camouflage shirt on. That's who was coming to see the movie. I want to sit there with a bunch of liberals just filing our nails with the time passed to make a point. But I will say, back to the review, the only good part of the movie, in my opinion, was Eminem coming out.
Well, I think it might make more money this way than it would have otherwise, because it wasn't on my list at all. I had no interest in seeing it, and I still don't. But I'm glad they did. I'm glad they made it available.
Yeah, I think so. You'll see Seth Rogen is not a good writer. Maybe he's a funny actor. I'd even debate that. He's always the same in everything. He wrote and directed this. James Franco backed him. Eminem was hilarious, though. There's a scene with him coming out on camera, and it's very funny. Then the other highlight, so that was my low point of the year. The high point of my year, even 4 days in. So 2 nights ago, I went to see Miss Patti LaBelle. She was playing at the Horseshoe Casino, and I went with my friend. And Lee and I loved the show. And at the very end, she sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow, came back for her encore. Something motivated me, Mark, to walk up to the stage, because she was allowing everybody up there. Midway through the show, she said, makeup's melting. Come on, guys, take your pictures now. People flooded to the stage. She told security to shut up and sit down, let them come up to the stage. So I knew she had opened that gate. And I went up there, and as she was singing her encore song, I don't know, something connected between the two of us. This sounds really corny, but she walked right to me with her hand held out, grabbed my hand, shook it, and moved on with her day. But it had a lot of meaning for me, because when my partner died of HIV, her album, an album of hers had come out, and I listened to that song religiously every day for the week to get through his burial in LA. And I don't know, for me it was a very high moment in my year. So there you go.
I like that, and I know you haven't washed your hands since then.
Oh my God, Mark, actually it's funny you say that, because I was cutting onions for a stew I was making. So I had an onion hand. I'm sure she got up the stage and said, who's that mother with the onion hand? Anyway.
So are those your resolutions? Are we at the end?
No, we're ding into the resolutions. That's just my.
Well, then I'll do my resolutions and you do yours. 2014 was awesome, and 2015 is going to be awesomer. My resolutions this year, because we call them that. What else can you call them? We need a different word, but commitments. My commitments. I'm going to be nice. You know, even on these podcasts, I'm going to be nice. I may say critical things. I may have opinions, but the snark there is no snark in Mark.
People love the snark in Mark, though.
Well, I'm finding ways to be humorous, but when I say snark, though, I mean, to me, snark is like Twitter snark.
Like in snippet.
Like unkind and cruel.
You can still have your humor.
I'm not going to be cruel. I'm not going to make fun of people. I've never made fun of people who I didn't think were powerful and deserve to be made fun of. But anyways, the snark level is like almost down to zero. I want it to stay there. I'm gonna just keep creating and writing and doing all these things I want to do, and hopefully somehow, maybe this year. The thing is, it's a trap. I keep saying I want to stay at this job until I'm vested in my 401k, which is another year and a half. But then my other voice says, like, that's another year and a half of your life that you're, so this year I gotta really think about trying to grow stuff and figure things out, and what else can I do so that I can devote myself more fully and not just between 5:30 and 7:30 in the morning. And I think that might just be kind of it. Just keep doing what I'm doing and slow down. I read the most revolutionary thing we can do is slow down. And so that doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing things, but just slow down with them. And I'll give you an example, then I'll shut up. It was,
I want to hear.
Well, the 1st of January, whatever, the second day, I'm on Goodreads. I don't like Goodreads. I don't get it, but I'm an author, so I'm there. But it's just another social media, crap pool to me. Mm-hmm. But anyways, oh my God, I hope nobody's listening to that. But who reads my books?
You just ended your career.
I just ended my career as a writer. No, Amazon, actually, I'm much, much, much more interested in the Amazon reviews, because that's where I go to buy books. I don't go to Goodreads to buy books. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so Goodreads sends me the little automated email. Have you set your 2015 reading goals yet? And I'm like, give me a break. I don't want this year. I don't want to track everything I do. I'm sick of tracking my calories. The steps. I got a Fitbit, so I'll do that. And I track I do enter my expenses, because I started doing that about 6 months ago. And it's good to know that I am constantly living beyond my means. But I don't want to track all these things I do. And I think we live in a culture now that does that. And it's like, I don't care how many books I read in 2015. What I care about is I read a book that I enjoyed, or I read a book that educated me and taught me something I didn't know. Man, just stop it and live your life in the moment, and forget about all this goal shit. Yeah. So that's another big resolution for me.
I really like that, Mark, because I think to get it done, you were talking about that in the green room earlier. Before we go on the show, folks, we have a green room. Well, it's a virtual green room, and we kind of talk about things and enjoy some snacks that aren't provided for us because Mark started
non-alcoholic.
Yeah, non-alcoholic thermoflu. But anyway, my point is, get it done, but don't let that drive it. Don't let plans drive it. I like that a lot. Slow down, enjoy it. All that is good stuff. For me, the focus is, it's what messages do I want to purport, through means like this, through my Facebook, through my daily walk with God and my daily walk in life with my fellow people. Last year was real important to me. We talked about this whole thing. We've talked about here on our show before too, about blood drives, and how for years people never realized that since the AIDS pandemic hit, gay men were not allowed to give blood, even if you were a celibate gay man. Now you can give blood as a gay man, but you still have to be celibate for, 1 year mark or 2 years, something not acceptable. But anyway, I made a vow to really kind of bring that to people's light. And I didn't call Elizabeth Warren and have her write a letter about it and start the movement, because she was really one of the people responsible for it. But by just keeping it in your speak and keeping it in your actions, like Margaret Mead said, don't ever think that it's that as a small group you're not making a change, because in fact it's the small groups and small entities that really make the change that comes across greater change. So for me, there's two mantras. You're going to hear me preaching on the show. You're going to be talking about it a lot. One is gun control. And I love, you and I have talked about this before. It's not a matter that we don't believe people should carry guns, but when you see a 2-year-old kill his mother in a Walmart in Idaho because the gun was ready to rock and roll in her purse, or when you hear a story about a police chief in Peachtree City, Georgia last Thursday, that was moving a gun that was in bed with him and his wife, putting his wife into critical condition, there's a problem here in America, folks. We can talk about racial issues. We can talk about the militia that is called the police force. But really, when it amounts to it, their power comes because they yield a fucking gun. And it's all about respect for human life, which should lead for respect for guns. I mean, they follow through. If you have a respect for life, you're going to have a respect for the firearm that you want to bear, and you're going to be careful with it. Second of all, I want to talk about women and the power of women. We know this is the year that you're going to see some momentum, whether it's Hillary Clinton or Sarah Palin, who's all upset with PETA right now, or Carla Fiorina, or Megan Whitman may come back, or Meg Whitman may come back into some kind of power, Elizabeth Warren. But here's the reality. When I sit with my single mother friends that are raising kids on their own, and they're telling me they're one of 52% of U.S. graduates from college that are women. So women, more women graduate from college than men, but yet receive maybe 25% less in pay. Mm-hmm. That's wrong. We've got issues. And I know the change is happening, but to me, it's about gun control and feminism, promoting our women to be on an equal forefront with us. So that's my New Year's resolutions.
Excellent. And you also, I have one to suggest. Just stop shaking your leg.
You can feel it, huh?
No, I can see it. It looks like an earthquake because the video is going like...
Oh my gosh, Mark, let's start a YouTube sensation like those newscasters are on the bloopers of the year where that earthquake did hit and they were undercover.
The last one I'm going to throw in there before we sign off is for me to just chill, because I'm always like, we got to keep it under 20. We got to keep it under 20. So it's 22 minutes, whatever. You know what I mean? If you made it to the 20-minute mark, you're going to watch the other 2 minutes. It's been great, Rick. Another good one.
Yeah,
Our first one of 2015.
Yeah, hey, and remind folks, too, we just posted an LGBTSR, our first another podcast co-interview with Jeffrey Marsh.
Yes, that was fabulous. Cool. Got a lot of play. We're gonna have lots more great ones coming up. And if anybody ever wants to contact us, even just anyways, it's ATP Pod because nobody writes, but I like doing this.
But if they do,
ATP Pod because it's Age to Perfection podcast. ATP Podcast at Outlook.com. I check my email expectantly every morning.
ATP Podcast at Outlook.com.
Maybe they want to come on the show. Maybe they go, I'd be a great guest on.
Yeah, you got some good subject matter, or was someone that you would like to see on the show. Also, just comment on the YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and throw a comment there. If you're listening to this on Blueberry, I think you can comment right there too, can't you, Mark?
You can. Many, many ways to let us know that we're having an impact in your life.
Find us on Facebook, LGBTSR. Find us online, LGBTSR.org. Oh my God, I'm breaking your resolution.
We gotta go.
Bye, everybody. Have a happy New Year. Happy New Year, Mark.